Congratulations on your decision to become an Anarchy Captain. This video is designed to quickly lay out some guidelines, capabilities, and general advice to aid you in your new role within the organization. First, some background. Anarchy was founded in July of 2019, and in less than a year we became the largest League of Legends team development organization on Discord, with over 25 high-quality pre-made teams. In the last split, 80% of our teams made playoffs. The central directive of the organization is to help players achieve greatness through a rigorous practice schedule and a culture of open, critical dialogue, but more on that later. We exist to help our teams improve. Teams inside the server prepare each other for competition outside the server. Ultimately, their goal is not just to do well versus other Anarchy teams, but to compete successfully in outside leagues and tournaments. Our mandatory practices are Wednesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. These are non-negotiable. If you can't make these times, you can't be on a team. This is the strict rule we have as an organization, and it can be prohibitive for some with conflicting work or home schedules. That being said, we understand life happens, and if a player needs to occasionally miss a practice, they can, so long as they can find a substitute. In looking for a sub, the easiest route is obviously just to ask a trusted friend, but you can also utilize the player base of the organization by tagging Anarchy subs. Do this by adding them in the LF sub channel. For example, at jungle sub, plat player needed for scrim Thursday 9 p.m. 2 block. Captains should encourage their players to find substitutes for themselves. That way, undue burden is not put on captains or teammates. However, it is the captain's duty to ensure they have 5 players come match time. On the upside, if you can make these days, you're in for a treat. With over 25 committed teams and 125 committed players and voice channels within the server on practice days, you can expect high-quality scrims to be available. When you become a captain, you'll be given a choice of colors from which to choose your team name. Once you select your team name, you'll be given a series of text channels and a voice channel. Your team text channels, by default, will include chat, where you can talk or meme with your team, pickban, where you can post screenshots of your draft, agenda, where you can see incoming scrim requests as well as your scheduled scrims, and finally records, where your official roster goes. By default, a new records channel will include a roster message, which should be copied and pasted to the same page by you as the team captain. The roster message must be edited to include who is currently on the team, their Discord ID and IGN. You must also include their multi-OPGG. To create this, if you've never done it before, go to www.op.gg and list your team members' IGNs in the search bar separated by commas. This will produce a hyperlink that contains all of your team members' records in one web page. Copy that hyperlink to your roster message. In your roster message, you'll be additionally provided with a champ pool spreadsheet to help you create your comps, picks, and bans. You'll also be given a scheduler, which is used to easily understand the overlaps in your team's schedule. Each player inputs ones in the scheduler in areas they have weekly availability. At the bottom of the spreadsheet, the scheduler displays overlaps in team schedules. These are represented by higher numbers, 4s and 5s. You can use this to plan out additional practices or games in tournaments or leagues. One of the more valuable services we provide is access to our robust applicant pool. At this moment, there are around 140 players of different ranks and roles who've applied and are actively looking for a team within the server. That means if you need to recruit more players for your team, send a DM with rank and role details about the player you need to Bonesy, our server bot, who will pass it along to our staff roster managers. The staff will then send you a list of qualified applicants so you can begin to try them out. Ultimately, as a captain, decisions regarding who is on the team is up to you and you only. Members of the staff are never going to tell you who will or won't be allowed on your team, unless they break the server terms of service. As a captain, you'll also have access to the captain's area. In the captain's area, you'll find our scrim scheduler. This is how our scrims for the week are scheduled. On the scrim scheduler, you'll see that each team has their average rank indicated. In order to request a scrim with another team, click that team's corresponding emoji. This is where our server AI, nicknamed Bonesy, comes in. Opposing captains will receive an invite in their agenda where they can accept or deny the scrim. If you need to talk to a specific captain, Bonesy Control lists them all by Discord ID. You can also request another team's multi-OPGG here. If you need to talk to captains in general, you can put a message in Captain's Table. So Anarchy utilizes a 2-block scrim format, or 2 games played back-to-back regardless of outcome. You'll participate in 4 games on Wednesday and 4 games on Thursday, a total of 8 matches per week. Each 2 block is given 2 hours to take place. This means there's some additional time built in for pro draft and what we call talkbacks. A talkback is a discussion between both teams which takes place after a set to assess how the games went, so both teams can improve. This is usually done while someone streams a replay of the games in Discord for reference. This is the culture of open and critical dialogue portion of our mission statement. We highly encourage both teams to objectively and critically evaluate mistakes that were made by the opposing team, their own team, and most importantly, by themselves as players. This can be challenging to do, especially after suffering a big loss, but teams who stay repeatedly will improve so much faster. Occasionally, we'll utilize the Wednesday and Thursday practice time for inter-anarchy tournaments, but that's the exception rather than the rule. As the goal for our competitive teams is to participate in outside leagues and tournaments, you'll be notified by an announcement in the League Alerts channel when a new league or tournament opens up. It's your responsibility to use this information, usually a sign-up sheet and a Discord link, to get your team enrolled. Anarchy doesn't pay entry fees. We also award free coaching to teams who have performed well and have been with us for a long time. An additional benefit of the org is you can make contacts with the best players in your bracket throughout the organization through scrims, and these folks will often be happy to sub in for a tournament match should you ever need it. Our server is meant as a training ground for teams to hone their skills for competition, and therefore we aim to foster a culture of positivity. In the past, teams who've been antagonistic, abrasive, uncooperative, or arrogant have found themselves alienated from the community for the simple fact that teams just don't want to scrim with them. Anarchy has no place for players who are problematic and demean their fellow peers. It's important for each player to read through our guidelines and understand appropriate conduct in Anarchy before applying for a team. You'll be spending 8 hours a week with other teams, so it's paramount to keep a good relationship with other Anarchy members to ensure a stable competitive experience. As you can probably tell, a lot of work has gone into making Anarchy Esports what it is today. Our server is made possible by our dedicated player base, our wonderful staff, and the generous donations of our supporters on Patreon. Currently, Anarchy receives a 15% cut from tournament or league cash winnings. However, with a minimal donation to our Patreon, this fee is waived. Donations go to our back-end developers who design, maintain, and upgrade the Bonesy AI. Giving whatever you can is greatly appreciated. As an additional reward for your donation, we have donor benefits. These range from changing your team's name, a custom logo, or a highlight reel, and much more. Learn more at patreon.com/anarchyesports. Thanks for playing with Anarchy, and good luck.